Yo, what is up folks, MTG here with a pretty sweet Jeskai Revelation. I'm going to call this like a combo control deck. It's a control deck in a way, we're playing a bunch of controlling cards, but we're trying to finish off with Jeskai Revelation. Or Jeskai Revelation is like kind of like a big ultimatum style effect. It is a 7 mana instant, which has some downsides, but for blue-red white instant, return target spell or permanent to its hand, deal 4 damage to any target, create 2 Monks of Prowess, draw 2 cards, and gain 4 life. It does an awful lot, and will hopefully get you very close to winning the game. We'll kind of pull you back to even and then do it again. It is a 7 mana instant. We've got a couple of ways to make that a bit cheaper, or to kind of get us to that point. So the first one is Torrential Gearhulk. We're going from 7 mana to 6 mana, no problem. Enters, cast into the card from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. Solid, but also plays really, really well with other control pieces, whether that be removal, counter spells, card draw, filtering. Is just very solid in that way anyway. It being also artifacts also relevant for some of our enablers to actually like get this into our graveyard and get it online. Starting with Stern Lesson, this is like a pretty cool card in this deck specifically. 2 and a blue instant, draw 2 cards and discard a card, but you make a Power Stone token. It is tapped, but then that can be used, well, it can't be used to cast a non-artifact spell, but it can be used to cast Torrential Gearhulk. If you do this on turn 4, turn 5 you can play a land and Gearhulk away. Well, yeah, obviously on your opponent's turn ideally. Also, it can be spent for things like Castle Ardent Vale, which is like kind of handy. We've got a couple of other discard outlets like Prismari Command, pick 2 modes. The ones that are relevant to us for actually like getting Revelation online are the draw 2 discard 2 as a discard outlet, and then the make a treasure one, which ramps us towards either Gearhulk or the Revelation. However, it has 2 other relevant modes for removal stuff, because we are a control deck. 2 damage to target and destroy target artifacts. Can be nice, especially post board. Your opponent's going to bring Graveyard Hate, try and stop us flashing stuff back. Being able to like snag a hearse or something like that, it can be super, super useful. And then the last one is Big Score. It's a bit more expensive at 4 mana, however, it gets you from 4 mana to 6 or 7, depending on whether you have an untapped land for the next turn. But yeah, again, discard Revelation, make 2 treasures, or potentially you have the Revelation and a land, you can discard something else, make the 2 treasures, untap, play the land, and then you've got Revelation mana up and available to you. Which is pretty handy, and again, can be flashed back off of Gearhulk. One thing to note is that Jeskai Revelation is the only card that's actually giving us like plus cards here, in that it draws 2. These are all going effectively 1 for 1, because you're discarding and playing them and drawing cards. So we really relying on Revelation to kind of pull us ahead on a cardboard in hand. Around that then we've got like a control package, so we've got 3 copies of the Wandering Emperor, which is the Amazing vs. Aggro decks, some life gain, it's an ultimate threat as well, and does everything. 2 Supreme Verdicts as our sweepers of choice, and then some counter spells and removal. 4 copies of No More Lies, 4 Lightning Helix. One nice thing about this deck is that we have life gain kind of all the way up the curve, with Helix, Wandering Emperor, and Jeskai Revelation all able to kind of like get us some life back versus the red decks that are so dominant in the Pioneer and Explorer formats. And then 2 copies of Get Lost and 1 March for the Early Light as kind of like more generic kind of answers to more problematic permanents. And March in particular like does not interact well with Gearhulk, though it could get like a token or something, I guess. But just having some ways to exile can be really, really important. Mana base is a little messy, but we're relying on kind of like a combination of Dragon Triumph and Shocklands to enable a few Verges. We've got a castle in here, and then some like flow lands like the Stormcast Coast and stuff. Generally, like this deck's wanting to interact from like turn 2. You're pretty happy playing a tap on turn 1 with no issues, and then kind of working things out from there. We do want to cast spells on 3 with Stern Lesson Prismari Command, but then kind of we get a bit more flexible up the curve. Hopefully the mana base will be really, really solid. And again, we gain a decent amount of life back to kind of pay for the 12 Shocklands that we're paying in the mana base. I will be playing best of 3 ranked in a moment with the deck. We'll take it in for a spin, see how we do. So I've got a sideboard here. 2 Rest in Peace for graveyard decks, 1 Test of Talents, which combines with like 2 copies of Domin's Veto for like various combo type things, or control mirrors with the vetoes, 2 Knockout Blows alongside 2 copies of Temporary Lockdown versus different aggro decks, and then 4 copies of Change the Equation. I just want just like a cheap hard counter spell versus the green decks in the format. Has some other versatility, but like yeah, all their spells cost 6 or less. Let's go for it. So on the like even more monstrosity kind of builds, and then lastly 2 Narsets, which come in control mirrors and other places where like the turning off card draw is really nice, alongside the vetoes and stuff. So that's the deck. Is I think pretty sweet, and we'll take up some matches and see how we do. See if we can do some revelating. If you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. And also, if you want to share the video around with anyone who would enjoy it, that would help me out an absolute ton. And yeah, let's get into some matches. All right, first match here with the Revelation deck. It's best of 3, so we'll see how many we actually have time for. But hey, we get to be on the play, which is nice. And this is very solid. I want to be able to both Lightning Helix or Normalize on turn 2, so I'm going to leave the Sacred Foundry to go to... Wait, that's the opposite of... Well... I'm going to do this. Like, the math doesn't check out on playing one of these and then the island. Untap Watergrave. Interesting. I'll look for Normalize here. We could shock and have both available. This is like a bit of a... Let's just try and get a read of our untapped Warrior Grave here. But yeah, here we go. Alright, so we have a big score. We haven't got any Gearhulks or Revelations. We will still fire this off if we're not close to them, as it gets us close to Revelation anyway, even if we're not putting it in our graveyard. And we should hopefully have some information on what we do and don't want in the matchup. Gonna Normalize this, not let us sit in our hand. That seems like the best way to go. Consider the breeding pool. Sultai. What other Sultai deck are we going to be up against? Playing out the planes, we have access to Helix. Alright. I have a Verdict, but it doesn't feel like a matchup where we want it, so that might be what we chuck away to the big score. See what else our opponent's up to. Yeah, so they got rid of a breeding pool before. I think I do this. Okay. I mean, they're gonna kick the Gearhulk, but I think this is fine. We're up a Lightning Helix and 2 treasures, because they almost certainly are taking the big score, and the treasures still let us cast spells and things. But yeah, we do unfortunately lose the Gearhulk for that. We some kind of like sort of control build. 5, 6, 7. There's that. Sure. They know a decent amount what we've got going on. Up the beanstalk. I'm gonna respond with this, because if we do find a way, like a normalizer or something like that, to counter it, then we actually kind of do want to fire that off. Yeah, this is a bit awkward. Thinking about how much I want to cycle the Dragon Triumph. I only just got a Helix here. I think actually I do want to cycle. I should say actually as well that the Power Stones can be used to cycle these. Yeah. We can get lost this. I guess that means they're on a what's the 7 mana hexproof thing? Cycling. River I don't know what. I can't remember for the life of me. War 2. Hexproof or War 2? There's 2 different cards I'm thinking of. Alright. I think getting the card draw offline is more important. I'll just tap both of these. And go ahead and just main phase get lost the beanstalk so I don't get to start drawing cards off. Well, I say just drawing cards, drawing more cards off of it. One, two, three. Just cycle this now. And we have a lot of mana. I don't mind getting rid of one of these treasures. We do need to find some actual action, don't we? We should make a treasure pack. Oh, I have a crab. Yeah, this thing is flash. I don't hate it, but I also don't love it. Like pitch tryign to big score. But again, this is like, we've got a few turns here. There's no particular pressure to react to this now. Yeah, sure, I'll do that. This is like really minor. They have a handful of cards as well. The Get Lost is a lot more valuable than the Bizarre. I'm kind of tempted. I'm burning some more treasures here, to be clear. We'll put our life total back up. We'll keep the Storm card case, so we've got something to discard. We have Ardenvale here, like, hey, in theory we could actually bot this for a little bit, but it seems like an opportune time to get rid of it. And let me see the Terror. Okay. There are a couple of different versions, like there are a couple of different ways you could play this. These words and things. As well. Like I've seen a couple of people do like Yorion type things with these. It's kind of cool. Like Yorion Gearhulk in theory is like pretty cool. But very win more. But the ratios, I think, with all the 6 and 7s you're putting in your deck, that I think is fine. Handful of cards, but they'll have a ton of removal, right? I guess. Okay, do a crab. We just got out of the 4th Lightning Helix out here, right? That's fine. Yeah, we just got a Phoenix, the verdict earlier. I think actually seeing the opt and the other cards we saw, we could have definitely kind of expected this kind of pile. Especially once you see the beanstalk. I'm like, alright, yeah, alright, that's what this should. Give us like a little bit more time if we draw like a verdict. I'm 14 here. Normalize Helix. Helix is kind of interesting. It's like we can pay for some things. If they have like straight up counter spells, we're in trouble. There's also a creature in play, which means a couple of different things. And the safest thing for us to do is just to kill one of the creatures. Even though we have one, I just want to make sure we don't just accidentally die. I guess Gearhulk can't be go for the throat either. That's kind of cool. I like that. This town. If do this. The bounce our token. But stops them using the crab to retap our Torrential Gearhulk. If they have another this town, they can't. Oh no, maybe they can. Still one less, but they need blue. Yeah, so they have another one. They still actually have to pay some amount. This card everywhere. Okay, so they have a cut. It feels bad because we don't like get to draw a bunch of cards, but we're living. We're at a 9. Ugh. Did not need to see another beanstalk. Oh, finally they use some cards. Open up the. Just the 1/5 in the way. But I'll just make a token and block here. Alrighty. Excuse me. We'll try to as well then. I'm dumb. Jeez. I said what I was going to do and then click through it. Right. Classic. Second tarot. Gonna move some stuff around. We did get lost them a bunch. We'll look over this tower. It's gonna stay on top. Okay. Oh, come on. We don't need to drop. I feel like I go for lethal here. Right. They're gonna attack. Then we can make a blocker. Got a block. We'll do the thing here. So we have one Vitalist in the deck. Revelation helps a bunch. Ish. Not the perfect answer, so. Okay. Oh, come on, man. Yeah, things looking pretty rough. You say? You know, I told me this left. I remember to block that one time. Make sure we've got a block declared. We'll try and lightning helix you. There are 26 lands, I should say. I was like very tempted to play 27. We've got all these ways to kind of discuss. I'm getting played on time. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like, let's resolve. Please, 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 please. Please, may I? Whatever is a good draw as well, because they need to answer both tokens. They also like bounce the terror. Okay, so they have it this round. Okay. Also not the worst. We had a 1 here.
I've learned much during my travels. Let me show you.
Alright. This Gearhulk's gonna need to do some work here.
My judgment is final.
It'd be funny to try and take some weird aggro angle, but I don't think that's happening. Yeah, they don't actually have enough blue sources, I realise. Sure. I actually do this now. just give them a crab back, which is dangerous. I think that let's Revelation. I'm gonna remove the crab rather than risk things getting blocked. This is not a weird angle where we get to bounce the Wandering Emperor. Alright. And now we're kind of chaining Revelations. Things are looking pretty good. This is a fatal push on a token, I guess. Weird game. I made a couple of mechanical arena misplays. Oh, we don't get to bounce our Gearhulk with the Revelation. It's a true shame. No! Boo. Okay. I have another Thoughtseize. Oh, they're just making a lot of terrors. A lot of terrors is pretty good. Well, that sounds like you can... try some stuff. They draw into a cast spell. If we draw into an untapped land, we can cast the Revelation. Yeah. They didn't realize that mode. Also goes face. Alright, we see game one, I guess. So here I want the rips. These are relevant most of the spells I bring in. These are Test the talents. Nope. Nosset's kind of tempting. I'm too worried about vetoes. It's kind of like, alright, what do we cut? These lightning hooks are really, really, really bad. Is this easy enough? I think it probably is. The march is also equally really terrible. But can excel like Beanstalk and other random bits and pieces. I think we keep these like this. Is there anything else we might want? I don't think so. Alright, let's give it a whirl. It was a little sloppy, but we got there. Opponent assuming he wants to play first, but used to say. No white source, but I do think cards are important in this matchup because they're going to bring in like more duress and that kind of thing. We draw a white source for normalized with like pretty good shape. Like drawing towards a pre-vote is in theory good, but we've got these two lands. Mindless Sicarius is going to be tough. Be tough. I think should mulligan. We have 0 castable spells here, which is that's what I said before. But I mean, this is okay. I keep this. I think we discard the big score. Try and make it play a really fair game. Try and shut down some of their cards. And also, we don't have loads of cards on this card because we're on 6. So, okay. The Royal Grin Tryign. Rest in Peace is bad with Gearhulk. This is notable. We don't just want to run it out there. Like, Gearhulk still has text. Which, I mean, it's a card with text on it. But I don't necessarily just want to, like, lead off with this on turn 2. If they establish enough things in their graveyard to make it discount enough for them to start casting things, like Terror, etc., then we will rip. But we're now leaving it open for now. I understand that rip and Gearhulk or a Nombo. There are other cards you could play over this. It's just the cleanest thing. And use the Revelation. Alright. I'm just gonna Narset here. Be proactive about it. We do need to find a land, so like this can't do that. But hey. Let's take the stun lesson. Alright. See how this goes. We turn the cantrips off. There are 2 cards in the graveyard. Crab costs 5 still. If they're on 2 lands, that's 1. Sleight of hand does get around it. It's just like opt and consider that don't work. Ooh, interesting. So they're gonna take the rest in peace here. They're gonna go for the march instead. We hit the land, which is good for us. We'll play that.
Hone your prowess.
And then it's like, again, do you want to play rest in peace here? Like, now we're like, oh, this is kind of danger time. I will play this out. But I think it's like not terrible to have Rip and Gearhulk in the deck. When they're gonna need some answers to it anyway. Did you get a card back before they get exiled? Alright, so reading pool it is. Maybe this is like looking for like spell pierce type thing. Let's just give it up, fair enough. Yeah, we have a pretty good lock with Narset and Rest in Peace. I think it's worth it. But hey. Alright, nice. Alright, only doing 1 match this video. If you want to see more of the deck, do please let me know. But it's super sweet. Can be a little scrappy getting to the point where you can start like chaining them together, but Revelation is very cool. The monks having prowess does let you also like close games out surprisingly quickly. And yeah, we got the burn kill there, which I guess also works out. Gearhulk's great. The like Stun Lesson, Torrential Gearhulk stuff. You have a lot of filtering between Stun Lesson, Prismari Command, Big Score. We got a little flooded there. Yeah, we were on 26 lands, I believe. Yeah. I think it's totally reasonable. We just got a little. I made the points where I kind of chucked lands away, where I chucked the spells. I was just making sure we actually hit our land drops. The deck does use its mana well. I think having another cast on the mana base might be pretty handy. It is pretty cool. Those like not out of Arnaville, maybe you want to cast Avantris, and those are pretty sweet with the stun, lesson, power tokens as well. You get like more value out of those effects is really cool as well. Sideboard stuff, yeah. So like Gearhulk and Rest in Peace I was talking about there. There are other graveyard hate effects you can play. You play things like Ghost Vacuum, something like that. We don't want something necessarily like. You could play something that doesn't clash with Gearhulk, or clashes less with Gearhulk. You can't play like Cage as much as you can't play. Rest in Peace is kind of the cleanest answer because it exiles the cards and then also means they still have to remove the thing. And often your opponent's going to be boarding into answers for potential graveyard hate anyway. Not just like the floor on Torrential Gearhulk is not the worst. And being able to kind of like use it for a bit and then turn it off later, also totally fine. But it does make sense like a little bit to kind of maybe trim some of these if you have more cards you want to bring in for the matchup. This wasn't really anything else I was happy with here. No, I don't like doing this video. That's fine. But everything performed really well. If you want to see more of that, again, do let me know in the comments if you've got any cool ideas. I've seen like Yorion builds doing kind of stuff with this as well. Obviously, there's the old like classic creativity thing. I didn't want to try and play like Jeskai creativity with Revelation. So I think if you're doing creativity stuff, the Opus like angle is so much better because you're just making treasures naturally in the deck. You could try and combine the two of them and play them with Yorion. I think that might be pretty sweet. You need to be a little careful with your numbers with like 6, 7, 8. Even if you're 8 spell cycle for treasures. Hey, just an idea. Would be pretty cool. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please do share it around. Do like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah, hope you enjoyed. List in the description. And peace out. Have a great day.